right, guys, we're down what, almost 10%. You know there were some people getting excited. You know how people are. You know they saw this little wow, that's a lot of lines. You know they saw this little higher high higher low and they were like, "Oh yeah, you were wrong." Oh yeah, no. That baby's coming down to 1 penny and I'm smiling ear to ear. You know I want him cheap, guys. You know me, I want him cheap. What I want to go over is all the PRs we've had this year, summed up. I'm going to sum up all the PRs we've had this year. I made this little infographic. Not 3/4/2024. Okay, we know Samuel was acquired, and there's some exciting Samuel announcements underway. What does that mean? We don't know. All we know is exciting. That's it. That's all they said. It's exciting announcements underway. So that's what's going on with Samuel. Let's look at Samuel. Because Samuel might be an opportunity, I think. Let's see if it's where it's at. Ooh, we'll see. I'm not buying it yet, but that's what I'm seeing right there. At least chart wise. Okay, let's pull up this infographic again. They had another update in the first shareholder letter. We expect to hold the in-person and online version of our shareholder meeting later in the first quarter of this year, mind you. So we should expect that in the first quarter of this year, because they pushed back the original shareholder meeting they were going to have on the 26th. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see if they follow through and actually, have an actual shareholder meeting this year. We believe that the 75 million shares added to the outstanding shares last week was a conversion done by AJB Capital from a previous convertible note. We know that this is disappointing for shareholders as it is for us, and we are working hard through our subsidiary structure, as mentioned in the 29th of December PR, and the targeted NASDAQ deal to pay down debt, reach more suitable agreements with lenders, and place Ilus in a clean position going forward. Let me pull that one up right there. So this is that one. Pay down debt, reach more suitable agreements with lenders, and have Ilus trading clean, with our operating subsidiaries being able to raise up their own capital. So the only problem here is what this means is dilution from Samsara and QAD, I assume, because those are their subsidiaries. That's at least what I mean. They're pretty much that's what they're saying, right? So Ilus trades clean is what they're shooting for, but their subsidiaries not so much. There's going to be dilution is what I'm. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. That's what that means to me, unless I'm interpreting this wrong. But that's what that means to me, at least. And as for QIND, some people have been asking about QIND and what's going on with QIND. The last time they talked about QIND, the S1 process for QID continues, and the subsidiary is in the progress of responding to the SEC. The S1 was filed in order to raise capital, which, funny enough, they mentioned this already. They're going to continue to dilute on their subsidiaries, but not so much with Ilus. They want to keep that clean. The S1 was filed to raise capital, and should the above mentioned NASDAQ deal be completed, it would supersede the S1 by providing considerable direct and indirect funding for QID to deliver its plans. It will avoid the potential for QID to conduct a reverse split. In further developments, and in addition to its normal course of business, QID is in discussions with potential acquisition options in the UK and Texas. So, Samsara acquired, exciting announcements coming. QID looks like they're waiting to see if they can avoid the reverse split. That their words. That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting to see if they can avoid the reverse split by completing that NASDAQ deal. And that NASDAQ deal is, let's go over that right now. The Ilus NASDAQ deal. As previously mentioned, Ilus has been in discussions with a NASDAQ listed company regarding a potential merger agreement. Discussions continued during our meetings with the NASDAQ company in the US last week, and we can confirm that considerable progress has been made. Currently, our legal counsel is working with theirs to iron out the finer details of the deal structure, and both parties aim to sign a legally binding contract very soon with the intention that the deal be completed and effective before March 31st filings are due. So there's your date right here. So March, this is March now. Time flies by. Wow. It's like I get older and time just flies. 31st is coming up in 27 days. So not that far off. It's going to be interesting this month to see what happens with that NASDAQ deal. We believe that this NASDAQ strategy for Ilus will be beneficial to all shareholders, including those of our subsidiaries QND and SAML. So there you go, guys. That's, I mean, there's a lot happening, and a lot of it is riding on that Nasdaq listed company merger. Because if that happens, we can avoid a reverse split with QND with its uplist. And for Samsara, we know that that's getting a ticker name change and more announcements underway. So there you go. That is it. That's what's been going on so far. A lot more PRs now compared to last year, and it's only been what, we're on month 3 now. So maybe this is going to be a good year with lots of PRs. We'll see. But so far, so much better than than last year. So yeah, just keep in mind they did push back the shareholder meeting. I wonder when they're gonna have it again, when they're gonna reschedule it. And they have been diluting. They did mention the conversion of stock. Um, we are writing to notify you that there has been a 50 million share conversion. So that's a 50 million share conversion. That's not the 75 million shares up here. This is something. These are two different. Um, two different. Ugh. Oh man, that acid reflux. Okay, yeah, conversion of stock, 50 million shares in return for a $600,000 investment into Ilus. And then they talk about how, oh my God, it's so disappointing. I know it's so evil. Guys, don't worry. Shareholder value. The investment allows us to realize the much needed capital required to get over the final speed bumps and execute this transaction swiftly. While we understand it's still disappointing, this conversion will have lasting value in the long term. Yeah, they're trying to avoid a reverse split. This is at least every time they dilute, they're throwing they're just I'm not gonna say they're carrot dangling, but they keep saying, hey, we're doing this to avoid a reverse split, guys. That's how they're trying to justify it. Like, hey, I'm gonna dilute you, but hey, it's to avoid a reverse split. And so that keeps people in check. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It is beneficial, right? I mean, we don't have to worry about a reverse split. We'll see if they actually follow through with that or if they're full of it. Because that's what they're dangling the carrot here with this, and they're trying to keep people from going crazy. Hey guys, this is to avoid a reverse split. Uh, you know what's funny? The seller, while very active, has never been known to aggressively sell either stock, even though they made another PR saying that they identified the seller and they worked out a deal with that seller. Okay, so what's going on here? Like, is this another seller? Uh, But yeah, a lot of big things coming. Let's see if March, by the end of this month and going into April, I look forward to the next couple of PRs and see what's going on. See if they're actually following through on any of this, or if it's all just talk and they just needed a way to raise money by without pissing off shareholders, essentially, right? Hey guys, we're just diluting you. But it's to avoid a reverse split, guys. Hey, I'm just punching you in the face, but it's to avoid it's to avoid you getting an uglier face. I don't know. It doesn't, something doesn't add up to me there, but and let's not forget finally that they did come up with a whole they came up with a whole PR, and inside it they essentially, said they essentially said, "Hey, we're doing all these acquisitions and all these cool things, but we're gonna increase the authorized common stock from 2 billion to 3.5 billion." And remember, they diluted all of last year, a 33%. They diluted already more than last year, if I recall. So maybe that's a reflection of everything that they're working on behind the scenes, possibly. But at the same time, we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll see if they're actually doing something with all that money that they've been raising, or if they're just full of it. That's really what it comes down to.